Hello and a big warm welcome to you. My name's Marion Rose, Ph.D, and today I'm talking to you all about the 3 types of feelings. Now what I love about this is I find it so helpful because when we know and understand the 3 types of feelings and their true cause, then we can respond in the most helpful way, and that's whether that's us and our own feelings or whether that's the feelings of others, whether we're a parent or it's a partner or a friend or whoever it is. By the way, there are lots of wild welcome swallows in our house and there are lots of babies at the moment, so that's the noise you can hear. So 3 types of feelings. What are they? Needs feelings, thoughts feelings, and I'm going to go through each one and how we can respond most helpfully. So the first kind are needs feelings, and what I love about this approach is that I see the 3 types of feelings that kind of match and mirror our evolution both as human beings and also in our own individual journey. So needs feelings being the most ancient, then feelings being more recent, and then thoughts feelings really coming about more to do with the frontal cortex. So needs feelings, really their whole purpose is to alert us to a need. So that is why they are there. So for example, when we feel lonely, it's alerting to us to a need for connection. When we feel frustrated, we might be needing some agency or some autonomy or some choice. So, of course, the most helpful response to a need feeling is to meet that need, usually to respond compassionately first to the feeling and then to meet that need. So that might be, if it's our child, sweetheart, are you feeling lonely right now? Are you wanting some connection? Would you like to have a cuddle on the couch with me? If it's ourselves, because often we've internalized a different response to our needs, sometimes part of the Marion method work is looking at those earlier ways our needs were responded to and how that's affecting us now. But again, it's the same things. It's connecting with compassion for the needs. So we might do that with our inner loving mother. Sweetheart, you're really feeling lonely, you really want some connection. Then connecting with, are we willing to have that need met, which is often a really key part. And then if we are willing to take action to meet that need. So the whole point of a need feeling is when that need is met, the feeling dissipates because it's done what it's there to do. It's there to alert us to the need. When the need is met, the feeling can flow on by. So the second type of feeling, hello birdies, is feelings. Now, in the domination, colonized culture, we can tend to think that babies, for example, maybe only have the first type of feelings, needs feelings, but they actually do have feelings as well, right from in utero. So feelings come about for 2 main reasons. The first one is if there has been an ongoing unmet need. So it's more like a chronic unmet need. So it might be an ongoing unmet need for choice or autonomy or for connection. What happens then is even if the need is met, there's still those feelings from before which are feelings. So even if the need is met, these feelings here are still here. So that's more from ongoing unmet, chronically unmet needs perhaps. Or it can be for kind of the opposite, is if there's too much. So it's kind of like if there's not enough, but also if there's too much. So too much stimulation, too much information, too much speed, too much happening, and we didn't get to say no to it. So it's kind of a too much where our no is often not heard. So in both of those cases, this isn't about fixing, this is about listening. So for feelings, the feelings need to be expressed and heard. It's a kind of a 2-part process. And not only heard, but heard with loving presence by someone who has the capacity to lovingly and willingly listen. So for example, if that's with our child, they may have some sadness to express, and that may be in the form of tears. They may need to have a really big cry. And our most helpful response to that kind of a feeling is to connect with our loving presence in our bodies and our willingness to listen and be there with them. I really hear how upset you are, sweetheart, and I'm right here and I'm listening and I'm going to keep on listening and be right there with them as they express those feelings. And when the feelings have been expressed, they will come out the other side feeling clear and relaxed, because those feelings, the aim of them is for those feelings to be released from the body. For a child, it may also be, if there are more like unmet will needs, for autonomy, agency, choice, it may come out more in frustration or rage or a tantrum. And what we can do most helpfully is to make sure nobody gets hurt, set loving limits where necessary, and listen lovingly and willingly to the feelings. Again, I'm right here with you. I am listening. I really hear how frustrated you are, sweetheart. And if it's with ourselves, we may get some outer loving crew listening, so we get to feel in our bodies the feelings, to express them to someone who can be lovingly present with that feeling in their body, so that they can be lovingly and willingly present with us. So we get to express the feeling until we come out the other side. If you've done the Marion method work and you have your own inner loving presences, it might be your inner loving mother who listens, who says I'm right here with you, sweetheart. I am listening. I really hear how upset you are, or I really hear how outraged you are. And again, the purpose being the feeling, the expressing, the being heard. We may also find that the feelings are to do with the past. Often they are. Again, that's how we're designed to work, how our psyche works. So in the expressing of the feelings from the past, those younger parts need to be lovingly heard and to have reparative experiences. And that's what the inner loving presence process work does. So that's feelings. Gosh, the birds are being really noisy right now, aren't they? I hope you can still hear me. So the whole point of feelings is for feelings to be expressed, so they get to leave the body by being lovingly and willingly heard. The third type of feelings are called thoughts feelings. Now, thoughts feelings are not so salient for babies and younger children. They start to come in more and more because they're so often learnt through experience. We're making conclusions about how things are from our experiences in our family and in our life, but we're also learning cultural ways of thinking. So for example, guilt is a thought feeling. It's not a needs feeling, it's not a feelings feeling. It purely comes from ways of thinking. So it comes from telling ourselves that we should do something, so that's coercing ourselves, or after not doing something or doing something, shoulding ourselves. I shouldn't have done that. So that's a kind of punishment or judgment. So what can we do there instead? So what we can do for ourselves, and this is key to the Marion method work, is instead of coercing ourselves, we increasingly learn to respond from willingness. And instead of judging ourselves, we increasingly learn to respond to ourselves with loving compassion. So increasingly, we're actually able to respond more and more in ways we want to without picking up those guilt sticks. If it's our child, we can support our children to elicit their cooperation through asking them, are you willing, rather than you should do, or you have to, or you've got to, or you must. To check if we're willing for them to do what we really want them to do. And there are also many ways that we can elicit cooperation. If you're familiar with attachment play from aware parenting, that's one great way to support children to want to and to be willing to cooperate with us. So those are the three kinds of feelings: needs feelings, and thoughts feelings. And the more we understand which one we're feeling, and of course sometimes because we're multifaceted human beings, they can be interwoven. We may need to move from different layers and levels to play with them. But the more, what I find in the Marion method work, for example, is we get to, with needs feelings, we get to understand what we're needing, listen to our willingness and respond promptly to that. With our feelings, we have an increasingly compassionate, inner loving crew who are willing to listen to all our feelings from the past and give us reparative experiences. And with thoughts, we're increasingly having a compassionate inner dialogue. We're replacing the old coercive and punitive inner dialogue with one that's all about lovingness and willingness, and that changes everything. So this way of understanding feelings is not about spiritual bypassing, it's not about repression of the sublime, it's about supporting us to work in harmony with these amazing feelings that we have in ways that also mean we're so much more able and willing to do what we're really here to do in the world. So if you want to learn more about any of this kind of stuff, you can find out more on my website, marionrose.net, and Meanwhile, thanks so much for being here. It's bye from me, and it's bye from the Welcome Swallows too.